now we're coming back to the point where I'm texting him. I'm like, man, I got a few players over LeBron right now, and coming from me, like this isn't a light statement. I don't think I've ever been able to say this, and you were kind of like, hey, hold your horses on it.
Yeah, no.
So like,
Relax.
how much grace? So like, I gotta ask, how much grace are you giving him because of the injury? How much grace are you giving him?
A ton,
of the year, AD going down. Go talk about it. I remember I texted you, and it was weird because if people don't know our dynamic, right? It's always been me big on LeBron, Eric big Kobe guy. But short story, the reason why I was kind of like drawn and reached out to Eric to begin with, because there wasn't a lot of people that claimed to be Kobe fans but weren't like out in left field with every take and just hyperboles and just like the awful arguments. Like, so I peeped that he identified as a Kobe fan. That sounds weird even saying, but I peeped that. And I also peeped the takes. The takes were never just wild. And he also respected Brian, which I believe like it's like a lost art. People just want to hate. Now we're coming back to the point where I'm texting him. I'm like, man, I got a few players over LeBron right now. And coming from me, like this isn't a light statement. I don't think I've ever been able to say this.
Right.
I don't know when. I even tweeted about it. And you were kind of like, hey, hold your horses on it.
Yeah, no.
So like, relax. How much grace? So like, I gotta ask, how much grace are you giving him because of the injury? How much grace are you giving him?
A ton,
of the year, AD going down. Go talk about it, because
I mean, a ton, dude. Like, at the end of the day, LeBron James is still LeBron James. And like, people like need to make sure they don't get that like misconstrued with anything. Like when it's time to perform and it's time to hoop and he's at his best, like, okay, I'm just gonna put it in perspective for you, bro. Before LeBron's injury, he was averaging 25, 8, and 8 at almost 36 years old, about to turn 37. That's what he's averaging, bro. He's not slowing down by any means. He shot over 51% from the field. It's one of his best field goal percentages of his career. Like, he's not slowing down. Like, that injury just derailed his team. For perspective, man, this is why, like, my thing is, like, if I have LeBron in the playoff series and he is healthy, I'm not betting against him. Everyone was like, oh, LeBron's slowing down. I'm like, bro, he's coming off an injury. Like, what do you expect? He's sluggish. Like, I know y'all ain't going that series and think he would be fine. And then when AD went down, like, that was it. Like, it still would have been a different series if AD didn't get hurt. You could say that about Chris Paul because of the shoulder injury, which looks like it's gone away because Chris Paul's playing well now. But at the same perspective, man, it's tough to look at LeBron and be like, oh, this is, he's falling off. He was just injured, man. Like, perfect example is like, you got to look at, for me, I'm definitely big, just not only just basketball players, but just people's mannerisms and how they conduct themselves. And then you measure that up against what you see them doing like currently, and something's off, right? LeBron, for as long as we've known him, as long as social media has been around, every year he gets off social media. What does he call it? Zero Dark 32. Lame as hell. I don't understand why he does it, but that's what he calls it. He gets on there. I'm going Zero Dark 32, playing like Zero Dark 30, the movie. And he's not on social media, bro, at all. Like, he just locks in on the playoffs. He was tweeting about other games. He was tweeting about Space Jam. He was like, bro, he's had so many other things like in the works right now. Like, the playoffs were not really on his mind when he realized the reality of them winning was not a big deal. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, think about it, bro. 71 games, dude. That's the difference between when they last played that last game in the bubble and when the season started. 71 games. That is literally 2 months and 11 days. So think about it. Like, that's even shorter because they have training camp. Like, so, man, you think you're 36, you about 35, 36 years old. Like, bro, you're not trying to do all that shit, man. Like, bro, that man is trying to go. That man is trying to go get that WB check for his Space Jam.
Oh yeah,
Spring Hill ENT, and we're gonna run it back next season.
I will say this though. A lot of times with these conversations, it's like, what have you done for me lately? And if I'm under the assumption that LeBron played this series not 100%, which was fairly obvious and that he will get to better form, then I'm here with you. But if I'm only speaking on what my eyes saw this playoffs and the performances, we just talked about top 5 guys. I saw a lot of guys perform in which I felt like if they were playing, if you took LeBron off the Lakers and you inserted Luka or Kawhi or Jokic, man, I might work as much because of his position, but part of me feels like you might have a closer series. And again, like I could tip my hat to it being the injuries, but it's just a weird thing to see. And I guess the answer to like this kind of how hurt was he will be answered next season. And something you mentioned earlier about how he played earlier in the season, I think there was also a level of defensive buy-in that people were kind of noticing for LeBron too, which was weird for this stage of his career. That was kind of big about his whole early season MVP hype.
Locked in, bro.
He was locked in, and you watch LeBron so much, like you can tell when he's really like that, putting his head down, finishing as well. Because sometimes, especially the first couple of games, you could tell like maybe it's just the spring or not being comfortable to where like he's getting to his spots, he's muscling through, but he doesn't have like the touch or whatever it is to finish. So trust, like I want to give him a bit of for the doubt. It's just, what have you done for me lately? Argument. Like, I gotta take a few guys. Like I know even you, like you would rather have KD in 2021 playoff KD or 2021 LeBron playoff.
Yeah, I mean, because Brian's hurt. Like I don't know if I'm taking KD. I don't know if I'm taking KD over a healthy Brian. Like but like that's the thing. It's like, and if I would take him, it's just because of my bias. You know what I mean? But if I remove my bias, like I'm just looking at it from a pure basketball standpoint, I'm like, I need this player, and like you give them both the same teams, I'm probably gonna take LeBron. Now, if you want to insert my bias, where I'm being irrational, which happens a lot, like I'm gonna grab my son. Obviously, can't birth somebody and go against him. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you got to chill on your mans, bro. It's just people just they really they saw that 2-7 matchup versus the Suns. Didn't realize what. Yeah, bro. Muggs didn't realize what the Suns were. I'm like, bro, they had the second best record in the NBA. It's a really good team, like a phenomenal team. They have great wing defenders, like they shoot the ball well, like scores, like they're a deep team. Monty Williams gives them a lot of confidence, bro. Shout out to Monty, like so look at campaign, bro. People didn't even think he's gonna have a career, like how well he's playing. So it was the perfect storm. They did what they need to do, and like people were seeing that like the Suns are a really great team, even by the way that they're steamrolling the Nuggets right now.
I'm gonna say this, and I know we're on the same page, but for me, in no way, shape, or form does this change or alter his legacy, where he ranks all time, all that mumbo jumbo that people talk about way too much. But I just think people get too enamored with the linear path of success and failure, and they model everything else with Jordan. And if it doesn't happen like that, you're less than. So I'm sure we both agree on that like LeBron's still LeBron. He didn't move up or down in any way, shape, or form. And I'm sure it's gonna be tough now. And the Lakers got a lot of moves to think about with not a lot of cap space to do it. But they'll be back in the mix next season for sure.